Are you or somebody you know is an ISTP or you suspect so? Then go ahead and watch this video. I am going to look at 10 overlooked signs that you may be an ISTP. Due to viewer request, I am making this video. I did make one about INTJs, which you can watch over here, over here, over here. Oh, what the hell it's going to be? It's somewhere above me. I'll leave it down in the description too. Sign 1, you come off as a serious person, but you're not really serious about anything. Most ISTPs are actually quite pragmatic, but carefree at the same time. Why is this? ISTPs, along with INTPs, have FE inferior, which is shadowed by FI demon. They can often come off flat as like INTJs come off flat, and these three types get confused. But ISTPs, especially more so than INTPs and INTJs, just want to have fun and be lighthearted a lot of the time. If ISTPs haven't gotten a grasp on their FE and fear, they can actually come off quite harsh, but they really just want to have fun and relax in a lot of ways. Sign number 2, you spent much of your childhood taking apart shit rather than playing with other kids. ISTPs, they have TI hero and NI child, and this can make them quite inquisitive and curious. Top that off with SE parent, and they can do this in a very hands-on way. So they like to take things apart, see how they work, and try to put them back together. I did this a little bit as a kid, but I never put it back together successfully. Let me know in the comments if you did. They may have gotten a lot of trouble as kids for taking the toaster apart, but that's just something that they do, and it's just how they learn. Sign number 3, you are socially awkward. I think a lot of people don't really tend to view sensors as socially awkward, but ISTPs are probably the most socially awkward sensor. Maybe ISTJ as well. Again, ISTPs have FE inferior, which is shadowed by FI demon. So they're pretty insecure about making other people feel bad, hurting their feelings, kind of not sure what the social norms are. Plus, they have the FI demon down in the shadow, and they really hate how they feel, their own feelings, their own state of being. So they're not very open and vulnerable. And this could be kind of off putting. So it can be hard for them to open up and people to figure them out. So they kind of just isolate and stay to themselves when they do want some form of social interaction. Sign number 4, you're quite inventive and quite imaginative. Like I said, ISTPs have NI child, and while some don't really utilize this compared to others, some do. Some of the greatest inventors probably in the world were ISTPs. I know several ISTP engineers with that SE on it. They like to create these crazy inventions, and they're not afraid to test it themselves. They're their own guinea pigs, which is pretty cool. They can still struggle to grasp deep abstract concepts. Like I had this ISTP friend who was a huge nerd, actually. It's quite funny. He's not too many ISTPs that you would picture are into Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, but my ISTP friend, I'd be talking to my INTP friend, and we'd be just going off on these crazy tangents, and he's just looking at us like, what the hell are you talking about? He was almost like a closet intuitive who wanted to be intuitive, but just couldn't quite grasp the weird things that we talked about. He was just more in the real world. Very cool guy, though. If you're enjoying this content, I'd appreciate a quick thumbs up. Sign number 5, you can be quite distant in intimate and close relationships. Some people who are in relationships with ISTPs kind of complain that they're aloof. A lot of times they'll just contact each other like once a week, once every other week, and kind of hang out sporadically. I think this is a lot of social anxiety. It could be a lot of the FE inferior, them, kind of fumbling in social situations, making somebody else feel bad and them appearing to be assholes, more or less. But this is a pretty common thing for ISTPs. They do have issues like INTJs and INTPs getting close and intimate with somebody. They often don't pick up on the emotions of others, and they like to have groups of usually other SPs where they can hang out with, where they can just kind of be blunt and be themselves. And a lot of ISTPs like to drink. That's for sure. Not all of them, of course, so let's not stereotype. ISTPs are, of course, introverted, and their social batteries get drained easily as well. They can also be workaholics. They can really delve into their own personal projects or their work, and they really don't have a lot of time to interact with people or be in close relationships, and this can be a hindrance to them. A lot of ISTPs that I met They're actually quite introverted when they do their job, when they do their craft, because they're known as a craftsman. But once they crack open a beer, kick back and lighten up a lot. ISTPs could also be known to cheat in relationships a lot. Again, it's a case-by-case basis. If you're an ISTP, let's not jump to conclusions here, but they can be quite unfaithful, unfortunately. And I think this is due to their lack of FI values down in the shadow. They really don't see it as a problem. Sign number 6, you have a very bad long-term memory, even though a lot of you think you have good long-term memory. ISTPs and ISFPs usually have very poor long-term memory, but it's kind of funny, and they think they have great long-term memory. This is due to SI cynics down in the shadow. SI is associated with long-term memory. So you might need to write things down. You might forget anniversaries, birth dates, special occasions, and this can upset people. People, for some reason, value holidays and stuff like that. It's not a big deal to me. But a lot of FESI users, this is very important for them. And, well, if you don't remember these things, they can get quite upset, and that can hurt your FE inferior. Sign number 7, ISTPs really hate going to the doctor. Most ISTPs I know will not go to the doctors to save their lives. Even a lot of ISFPs are like this. Again, this is due to SI cynics. You're very critical of your own comfort, your own safety, your own well-being. Like this ISTP friend that I spoke about earlier, he would not go to the doctor to save his own life. He pretty much lived off beer, Mountain Dew, and cigarettes. One day he was driving to work at the prison, and he kind of blacked out, and he lost several hours that he can't remember, and he actually went to the doctor. Of course, the doctor didn't help him. I can see why they're skeptical of doctors, because it's just kind of a system to keep you sick where you keep coming back and they keep getting money. But a lot of ISTPs and ISFPs won't go to the doctor unless they're dying. My ISFP uncle got bit by a pit bull on his arm, and he lost a lot of function and got nerve damage from it. He never went to the doctor. But ISTPs, like INTJs, they often don't take care of themselves, so you have to watch out for that. SI in a shadow can be a bitch. Sign number 8, rules are arbitrary. SPs in general are kind of the ones who defy rules. ESTPs, namely, are the most likely to defy rules here. I think with SPs, ISTPs, and ESTPs especially, you have to kind of prove that the rule is worthy for them to follow, and they will test boundaries. ESTPs are definitely the highest concentration of inmates in prisons. I've worked in prison, this is what I've seen. ISFPs follow ESTPs most likely, then probably third are ISTPs. Why is this? Because they have low NI. They are pretty insecure or reluctant to look into their own futures, and they just kind of live in a moment, and they don't always think things through. NI, of course, is about looking into your own personal future and finding the most desirable outcome. And I just filmed a video right before this about being alone and introspection. And a lot of types like these just don't want to kind of think things through, and it can bite them in the ass. If you want to learn more about NI, watch this video up here. Like me, being an NI hero, I can see the consequences to my actions, and I think things through thoroughly. And, well, if I know I can't get away with it, I won't do it because I'll face consequences. INTJs aren't usually big on following rules either, but we're a lot more subtle about breaking them. Sign number 9, you may space out sometimes. INTJs are notorious about spacing out, and this is again due to NI. ISTPs, do they space out? Yes, probably to a lesser degree, but they can be spacey. Remember, ISTPs are TI heroes, and that's an introverted process, and it goes into their own deep thinking, trying to figure things out. Sign number 10, well, I couldn't think of one, unfortunately, but I'm sure you guys can think of plenty. Put them down in the comments. Go ahead and watch this video up here of 10 overlooked signs you might be an INTJ.